Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, let me tell you, I had a moment at a dinner party last month. Someone poured me a glass of wine, and I thought, is this actually okay for me? And then someone else at the table said, oh, a glass of red wine a day is good for you. And someone else said, no amount of alcohol is safe. And I just stood there holding my glass like a confused person at a crossroads.
Right, and that confusion is completely understandable because the science itself has been having that same argument for about 30 years. What we thought we knew about alcohol and health has shifted quite dramatically in the last 5 to 7 years.
Which is exactly why we're digging into this today. We're talking alcohol and longevity, what the latest epidemiology actually shows about safe drinking thresholds, and what's happening in your body metabolically when you drink. Whether you're someone who enjoys a glass of wine with dinner, or someone wondering if you should quit entirely.
And we're not here to lecture anyone. We're here to make sure you have the actual evidence, not the version that got simplified into a headline.
So let's start with the big picture. For years, the conventional wisdom was that moderate drinking, especially red wine, was protective. Good for the heart. I grew up hearing that.
Right, here's what I've learned on that. A lot of that belief came from observational studies in the 1990s, including work connected to what became known as the French paradox. The idea that the French drank wine and had lower rates of heart disease. It was compelling. It was also, it turns out, methodologically flawed.
How so?
The biggest issue is something researchers call sick quitter bias. Many of the non-drinkers in those older studies included people who had stopped drinking because they were already ill. So the comparison group looked unhealthy, making moderate drinkers look healthier by contrast. It wasn't a clean comparison at all.
Oh, wow. So the whole moderate drinkers are healthier thing was partly comparing them to people who were already sick. That's a huge confound.
Enormous. And when researchers started controlling for that, using Mendelian randomization studies, which is a method that uses genetic variants to reduce bias, the protective effect largely disappeared.
Let's credit that because it's important. Who's been doing this kind of work?
A landmark 2018 study published in The Lancet, led by researcher Max Griswold and the Global Burden of Disease Alcohol collaborators, analyzed data from 195 countries. Their conclusion was striking. The safest level of alcohol consumption is 0.
0. Okay, I want to sit with that for a second because that's a pretty bold statement.
It is, and I think the nuance matters here. The study was specifically looking at overall health risk across all conditions, not just cardiovascular disease. When you factor in cancers, liver disease, accidents, and neurological effects, the net risk goes up even at low consumption levels.
Here's the thing, though. The conversation changes depending on what we're measuring, right? Because I've also seen research suggesting that very light drinking might still have some cardiovascular signal.
You're right to push on that. There is still some debate, particularly around cardiovascular outcomes in isolation. But a 2022 study in JAMA Network Open, using genetic analysis across over 370,000 participants, found that even light drinking was associated with elevated blood pressure and higher cardiovascular risk when confounders were properly addressed.
So the protective story really is unraveling under better science.
Gradually, yes, the evidence is shifting. The World Health Organization and the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction both updated their guidance recently, essentially moving toward no safe level language for cancer risk specifically.
Let's talk about cancer, because I think people don't connect alcohol and cancer the way they connect, say, smoking and cancer.
And that's a real gap in public awareness. Alcohol is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. It's directly linked to at least 7 types of cancer, including breast, colorectal, liver, esophageal, and oral cancers.
7. And is this dose dependent? Like, does more alcohol mean higher risk?
Generally, yes. The risk increases with consumption. But here's what surprises most people. Even 1 drink per day is associated with a measurable increase in breast cancer risk. Research from the Million Women study in the UK quantified this quite specifically.
Okay, so as a woman in my late 30s, that lands differently. That's not abstract to me.
And that's exactly the point. For our listeners who are in the sandwich generation, managing stress with a nightly glass of something. This is relevant, practical information, not alarmism.
Now, I do want to be fair here because I know some of you are listening and thinking, this feels like they're about to tell me to never drink again. And that's not what we're doing. But I also want to ask David the honest question. Is there a threshold that the evidence still considers relatively low risk?
Right, that's the honest tension in the data. The Canadian guidance from 2023 now categorizes 1 to 2 drinks per week as low risk, 3 to 6 per week as moderate risk, and above that as increasingly high risk. That's a significant shift from older guidelines.
That is a shift because previous guidelines in the US, from bodies like the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee, were saying up to 1 drink per day for women, 2 for men. That was the standard for a long time.
And the US guidelines are still playing catch-up to some of the newer evidence. The science moved faster than the policy, which is frustrating, but also just how public health guidance tends to work.
Let's zoom out to the metabolic side of things. Because longevity isn't just about cancer risk. It's about how alcohol affects the systems that keep us functioning well as we age.
Brilliant point, Emma. So metabolically, alcohol is processed primarily in the liver. It converts to acetaldehyde, which is toxic, and then to acetate. This process generates what are called reactive oxygen species, essentially compounds that create oxidative stress and inflammation.
And chronic low-level inflammation is basically the villain in the longevity story, right? It's connected to cognitive decline, cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction.
Exactly. Research published in Nature Communications has linked regular alcohol consumption to accelerated epigenetic aging, meaning the biological age of your cells can run ahead of your chronological age with consistent drinking.
Okay, that one got me. Biological aging faster than your actual age. That feels urgent.
And it connects to sleep too, which matters enormously for our audience. Alcohol disrupts sleep architecture, specifically REM sleep, even in moderate amounts. Matthew Walker at UC Berkeley has written extensively on this in Why We Sleep. Poor sleep accelerates nearly every aging marker we care about.
I can vouch for that personally. On nights when I've had even 2 glasses of wine, I sleep terribly, even if I fall asleep fast. I always thought falling asleep fast meant it was helping.
That's a very common misconception. Alcohol sedates rather than induces natural sleep. The rebound effect in the second half of the night fragments sleep quality significantly.
Okay, y'all, this is a good moment to pause and say, if you're finding this useful, and I genuinely hope you are, please like and subscribe to the Wellness Rhythm Show. It helps us enormously and means more people get access to this kind of evidence-based conversation.
Right, and we genuinely appreciate it. It keeps us doing what we love.
So let's get practical, because that's what we're here for. Someone's listening, they enjoy a drink socially, they don't want to feel guilty, and they also want to make informed choices. What do we actually say to them?
I'd say, know your numbers, be honest about your actual intake, and understand that the risk isn't zero, but it is modifiable. If you drink regularly, reducing frequency, even just a few days a week, has measurable benefits for liver function, sleep quality, and cardiovascular markers.
And I'd add, don't replace the social ritual with nothing. The social connection piece, sharing a meal, having a conversation, that matters for longevity too. There's strong data on social bonds from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, the longest study of adult life ever conducted. So maybe it's sparkling water at dinner with people you love still counts.
That's actually a very fair point. The ritual has value. The alcohol is the variable you can adjust.
Here's the thing though, I also think we need to address the everything in moderation crowd, which is honestly most of us, including me.
Right, and I think the honest answer is, moderation has been systematically redefined downward by the evidence. What was moderate 10 years ago looks different today. That's not a moral judgment. It's just the science catching up.
And for folks who are pre-retirees or in their 50s and 60s, thinking about the next 20 years of their health, this is a really worthwhile audit to do.
Agreed. Low investment, potentially high return. Just honestly tracking your weekly intake against the newer Canadian benchmarks is a useful starting point.
Okay, so if you're taking one thing from today, I'd say it's this. The old, a glass of wine a day keeps the doctor away narrative really doesn't hold up under modern scrutiny. But this isn't about shame or perfection. It's about making a genuinely informed choice, probably with fewer drinks per week than you thought was fine.
Right. The evidence now points toward fewer drinks, less frequently, as the lower risk path. That's the practical summary. And if you want to explore your own relationship with alcohol, organizations like Alcohol Change UK and the NEAAA in the States have solid, non-judgmental resources.
Y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We know your time is precious, and we genuinely don't take that lightly. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. It means the world to us and helps this conversation reach more people who need it.
Brilliant to have you with us. Until next time, Make it evidence-based.
This show is part of the VoxCrea.ai system. If you want a show like this for your organization without building it yourself,
Go to voxcreel.ai and request a sample episode.